Now, data flow diagram is very important software engineering concept. Like we go for this kind of when we go for system designing, then also this is required. Okay. Just a minute. Let me drop a message in your group, like to your CR. Others. I think others will join now. So what happens? I'm repeating once more. Today we are going for data flow diagram, which is also known as DFD. This DFD, it basically helps in representing, like when we go for the system designing part, we have to go for this DFD diagrams. Any website, so we go for this kind of diagram, either ER diagram you are studying in DBMS. So this ER concept is obviously applied in DFD also. Why? Because all the data ER diagram, we have all the tables, right? That tables will be used here, the entities, right? That will be used in DFD, a data flow diagram also. So what is first a data flow diagram? It is a graphical tool useful for communicating with users, managers, and other personnel. So like I mentioned, like in system designing, whatever based on the user requirement, the system designers, what they design a diagram. So that diagram, so it can be any type of diagram. So here we are going for the data flow diagram. Some people even go for the ER diagram. So whenever there will be ER diagram, we can have to go for the data flow, because it will show the flow of data between processes. So it is used to perform structured analysis to determine logical requirements. So why do? We go for the finding the structural analysis of the system. So what are the logically, what are requirements? These are not the physical but the logical requirements. Basically, it is used for analyzing the existing as well as proposed system. Now it will focus mainly on the movement of data between external entities. The external entities, I hope you are clear in the ER diagram. Anything which like I'll just inform, I'll tell you. But for now, you remember external entities are nothing but any real world objects. It may be a client or we user are the external entity. That is, we are not a part of the system, but will be using the system. And processes, and between processes and data stores. Data stores means normally the databases, how you store, where you store the data in the original database. So that is the data stores. Okay, so a relatively simple technique to learn and use. So again, this DFD, you don't implement it just as a design, it's a theoretical concept. Okay. So these are the DFD elements. So by the way, like this is the slide, I have not created it. I have just using from SlideShare only. So I'll be sharing because it's good enough. So in DFD, these are the four elements are there. So there will be an external entity, source and sink. So source is something like will provide the data, and sink is someone who will like receive the data. Okay, source is some entities from where the data will be passed, and sink is where the data will be received. Next we have processes, data stores, and data flows. Now let's take one all of this one by one. So see, for DFD diagram, we have two kinds of conventions. One convention was given by Gane and Serson symbol, and the other was DeMarco and Jordan symbol. So if some books, if you go for this Rajiv Mall book, is an IITN for software engineering. If you go by that book, he follows this convention for drawing the diagram, that is DeMarco and Jordan. And some of the books they go for Gane and Serson symbol. Okay, is my voice not clear today? Can you hear me? No, yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes,
I think,
ma'am.
okay, Subhanjit, I think your network, there is an issue. Okay, it's okay if you can't like hear me properly. What I will do is like I'll share the recording. Anyways, I'll be sharing this recording in your ERP. Okay, so you will be getting the link for this class. Okay, so see, in external entity, this Gane and Sarson symbol, we represent the external entity in a rectangular box. Similarly, here also in rectangular blocks, there is a difference only in the process and data store. The process is represented in kind of a square or a square type of thing, where we have, this is not a sharp edge but little bit of kind of oval type, and here we represent using a oval, totally oval. Okay, this is a process. Then data store, we represent it using this one, this symbol. So basically, it will be a rectangle, but this side will be not there, and we have this symbol is there. The partition is there, and here in Jordan symbol we have only these two lines. And data flow is same thing, like we have an arrow. Okay. So here the descriptions of like what is an external entity. Just I mentioned, any people that will be using any like anyone who will be using from an external purpose. Like we have the people or organization. Okay, that will send data into the system or receive data from the system are the external entity. Again, what is a process? Basically, what happens to the data? Okay, transforms incoming data in outgoing data. So that is a basically a process. Okay, what will happen to your data? So all these things, what will happen to your data, how it will happen, because like how the data will be processed is discussed in this in process type entity. Then we have a data store. Basically, it will represent permanent data that is used by the system. That is, you can think of your database. Okay, and the last, the tables in the database, the tables in the database is known as a data store. You can think of it. Now, what is a data flow? Because it will show the actual flow. What is the thing you are entering into your process, and what is the thing you are getting it from? I'll show you. Now, while naming this one, always remember you should name an external entity with a noun. Okay, and data flow will be names of the data. I'll give you an example, and process will be verb phrase, and data store will be noun. So I told you that external entities can be of two types. One will be someone who supply to the that supplies to the data to the system. Okay, that is known as the source, and someone will receive data from the system. So this is known as a sink. But remember, they will just supply data and receive data. They will not process data, because processing will be done by the process. Now I told you, right? We want the Jordan symbol. We represented is like a circle, and the Gane and Sarson we represented using this square type of thing. And here we always have a naming, leveling is there. Okay, here leveling is there. This is the data flow. This is the data flow we have. As I mentioned, processes will you have to use some verb phrase like process. It's a process for grading the report. It's a process for storing something, stores. So what is the data you are passing? You are passing the grade details, and you are getting the grade report. Okay, this is just the example, but this is a data flow and this is the process. Similarly, this is the data flow and this is the this is the data flow and this is the process. So processes, what happens now? We are talking only about the processes, that this part. Okay, this circle part or this square part. So works or actions performed on data inside the system. So all over the works, whatever performed are done in this system. It will be kind of a black box. We don't know what is happening here in the diagram, but something here is happening. So straight line with incoming arrows are input data flows. Obviously, if it is entering, these are known as the input data flows, and straight lines outgoings are known as output data flows. So levels are assigned. So these levels are assigned. So because these levels have nothing to do with the processing, that this will be processed first, this will be nothing of the ordering. These are just level. We have certain levels in DFD. We'll just study. So we level for that purpose only. Next, can have more than one outgoing data flow and more than one incoming. So it is not restricted, like we will have only, like we have in this case, the last case, it have only one data inside input data and data flow and one output data flow. So it can have any number of input and any number of output data flow. Okay, so here you can see submitted work. You can also have this submitted to the process, grade, student work. So we are getting graded work and student grade. Similarly, here two inputs are here and we can get so any number. So it can be more than two also. Like if we pass even like 5, 6, 7, we can give like anything. You can have like either one or more. Now, processes can connect to other symbol including other process symbols. So it is possible to connect two processes together. Okay, this is also a process, this is also a process. So it is possible that we can connect it. So it can connect to any other symbol. So basically what this process contain? The business logic, also called the business rules, also referred to as the black box, because we only know the name of the process, which is a verb, but we don't know what is going on inside. That is why it is called the black box. Okay, black box means we know that this is a process name, verify order is there, but what it is happening inside, we are not aware of it. That is why it is known as black box. Okay. Next are the data stores. So data stores, I told you that you can think of the tables in the DBMS, like whatever the tables you have in MySQL, you can think it, because we store the data in the table in the database. So this is basically a repository. So we represent it in the Gane and Sarson, we represent it like this, and in the in the Jordan symbol, Jordan convention, we represent it using this symbol, data store. Okay. See, whenever you draw the DFD diagram, always remember you can use either of the two. It's not that you can use like you can mix and match both the conventions. You need to use either Jordan, or you need to use either Sane and Gane. Sorry, Sarson and Gane. So this data store is basically nothing but a repository of data, like a table. Okay, so data can be written into the data store. This is depicted by an incoming arrow. Okay, so data can be read from a data store. Like what are the things we can do from a table in the database? We can read from the retrieve data from the database, insert value into the database. So this is going by the outgoing arrow. Just check one. So this is the data flow. So what does this data flow means? Data in motion. What are the things you are providing to the processes? So marks movement of data through the system. Okay, a pipeline to carry data, connects the processes, external entities, and data stores. Okay. Now this data flow is generally unidirectional. Okay, Shivani is waiting. No, Shivani, I didn't find like Shivani is not there. Shivani, I think Shivani is not there. She is not in the waiting. Okay. In data flow is generally like unidirectional. That means, see, it's basically a pipeline, and then we'll have this single unidirection means one-sided arrow. Okay. 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 If same data flows is in both direction, we go for double-headed. We go for double-headed when same data again. So this is why we are providing from post payment process, we are providing the payment details. We are entering the details into where? To the table, data store, and we are getting the invoice one. Invoice, that is the output. Okay, so it is also possible if same data flows in both directions. Suppose from account receivable also payment detail only flows, then we can give it bidirectional, that is double-headed. Okay, but when we are meaning this thing unidirectional, that is from this process post payment, we are providing the payment, we are like inserting the payment detail into the accounts receivable table. We are getting what? Invoice detail. When you like think of in a bank account, what you do, suppose in the ATM machine also, whenever you have like inserted the card and you have taken out the money, what you get? An invoice you get, right? A slip you get. So that is the thing, you get an acknowledgement for that. Next. So here basically this DFD can be broken down. Sorry. Now this DFD can be broken down into like many types. First is the zero level, then which is also known as the context level. So it will have the zero level will be very basic one. It will have only one process only. Okay. Then we'll have the level one, which is the overview diagram. It will have all the elements, and later basically the complex things. And then in the level two, we'll have a detailed diagram where we'll break down the processes. Okay. And basically if there is no number of restrictions now how many levels we can have everything, but generally we go for this three only: level 0, level 1, and level 2. So what are the rules for the level 0 diagram? That one process represents the entire system. So check here in the context level diagram, we give the level as 0. Okay, because it is the level 0, so we are mentioning that it is so we are leveling it as 0. So this is the only one process. So there are entities, these are the data stores, right? Customer, kitchen, and restaurant manager are the data store. So what happens is the customer, they provide customer order to the food ordering system, food ordering process. And what he does, once he orders the food, he gets what? A receipt. Similarly, once the food ordering system receives the customer order, what he does, he orders the food to the kitchen. Okay, and there is the food ordering system is managed by who? The restaurant manager. So this was like a simple overview of the context level. Very simple. It will contain only one process, that is this one, food ordering system. This is the only one process where we have an overview of the what are the who are the like what are the entities. That is, entities means what are the data stores are there, how is the data is flowing. This is, we are not breaking it because the food ordering system, like it may not be a simple one. If for a simple project, for a small size project, a context level will be enough. But for big projects, a context level diagram will not be enough. Then we go to divided the project, we go for the decomposition, that is level 1 or level 2. So here it's written here that data arrows shows input and output. Obviously, what are we giving? The customer is this the external entity, right? So this customer is giving what? The customer detail, customer order. Okay, and then what he gets an acknowledgement. Suppose I hope that everyone have ordered food in the Swiggy, Zomato. Everyone is using nowadays. So what you do? So whenever you give an order to you get a receipt. Okay, your food will be delivered now. It's like all the acknowledgements, right? So these are the given by the ordering system. The See, these are the things from our side, because being the customer, we get only the receipt of everything, that your order is confirmed, maybe any kind of acknowledgement, your order is confirmed, or your food will be delivered at like so after half an hour or within 30 minutes, 45 minutes. So it totally depends. But what happens on the restaurant part of view? So the ordering system need to inform the restaurant also, right? And someone will be there to manage the contact information between the customer and the restaurant is the restaurant manager. Okay, so next, so this is how the levels generally break down. This is the context level diagram, and all the we have a various examples here. So we can see a course registration is there. Okay, where student, if they like enroll for request into a course, request for enrollment into a course, and then they get the schedule. And what the academic department do, they put in the schedule the data, and faculty members, what we do, we get only the enrollment list. So like of this, then these things can be broken down. This course registration, this was single the context level. Now these things can be broken down in the level 1, because a course registration will involve like courses, right? Different subjects will be there. Okay, so all the branches, so just we'll check now. Now after this context level or the context diagram, that is a level 0, we know that the major information flows between the entities and the system. And the context diagram addresses only one process. We have seen like there will be only one process. The entire system will be shown using depicted using only one process, right? Next, we have rules for the level 1. So where we'll break down that process, where we have seen for I think food ordering system, that entire process will be broken down into the sub processes. Okay, so in that is in the level 1 diagram. So level 1 the DFD must balance with the context diagram it describes. Okay, so input going into a process are different from outgoing leaving the process. Obviously, data stores are first shown at this level. So this time we'll show the level. So this is the level 2 also. We have just rules are there. So level 2 DFD must balance with the level 1 it describes. See, for very small projects, it's not required to go for level 2. We can stop at level 1 on itself. Okay, generally we should like we generally go for, if the project is big, so we go for level 2, otherwise we stop at level 1. Okay. Next, input going into a process are same thing. We'll break down this one. So I told you numbering, we go for numbering just to level, and it does not mean anything like anything we have for like processing order or something. We can go naming in any order. So next we have the rules for data flow. So what are the rules? First is that these are the do's and don'ts. Okay, so data can flow from external entity to process. We have seen that process to external entity. Yeah, it is possible. We have seen the process gives the acknowledgement to the customer. Then process to store and back. Okay, that is the data store. It's talking about the data store. And process to process flow is also possible. That is, there can be arrows data flow from these things. Okay. Next, we have what are the don'ts we have, that external entity cannot be like external, both the external entities cannot contact each other, right? There cannot be any data flow within two external entities, and also external entity to store. So it is not possible to for the external entity to directly provide the data to the data store. They need to contact via the process. Okay, now store to external entity. Similarly, the external entity cannot what I can say, okay, cannot directly try to use the data store, that is the database table. Similarly, that the database table also cannot be directly give acknowledgement to the customer. Okay, it should be via the process. Similarly, from data store to data store, there can't be any data flow. Okay, so this is just the common errors, just whatever we mentioned. Okay. So these are the basically good things. I'll show you one diagram now. So see, so this is basically a laminate stand. So here we have the context diagram where we have only one process. So how do you know it's a level 0? Because it is 0.0, or you can write 0 also. Okay, this is just the leveling. So when we see the leveling is 0.0, so we understand. So this is the context diagram. So here we have the external entities, a customer, employer, and the vendor. I told you, right, data can flow from, like, we can have multiple inputs and multiple outputs. So customer provides order, gives order, and he receives a product served, then he gives payment, he provides payment, and similarly employee production schedule is that is the data that has been provided to the process. Then he gets the sales forecast, then the customer pays the payment to the process, and the process pay to the employee, right, who works for it. Then obviously time worked. So these are the things you can incoming and outgoing. Okay. So this is the context. Now this can be broken down into the level 1. So this is the level 1 diagram. Here, see, this is the level 0, but actually it's level 1. Okay, don't get confused. The level 1 DFD. So in level 1 DFD, that system, that laminate stand has been broken down into various this laminate system has been decomposed into various processes. So that processes has been broken down into sale, production, then procurement and payroll. So these are the processes 1, 2, 3, 4. And then customer, they will, like, we can do it separately now. So customer, they give order. Okay, the customer will give order, and then what happens is this say into the sale, and then the sale forecast will be there, then process, I told you, right, process to process. Then it will be like this. DFD will be process flow will be separate for different projects. For example, for student management system there will be different DFDs. For employee management, for like faculty, this is a laminate system. So is my screen visible? Yes, students, is my screen visible? Yes, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay,
Yes, ma'am.
okay, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so this is for the laminate system. Just I want to tell you, inform you that this is how we go for the different things. So if you have a student management system, your DFT will be different. But this is how, see, process to process. So this, from sale we go for the production. Then for production, for procurement we have inventory. So these things are all connected. This is, we should remember the what are the things you are providing to the process, and what are the what are the things you are getting as an output. Okay, so after this we can break this diagram also. It is also possible, like, again you can check the process 1, that is sales, has been broken down into various parts, and here we are mentioning the data store. Here we are giving the data store. See, this customer table, that sale has been divided into, that process 1 was given here. Okay, so here it is like sale will record order, receive payment, produced sales forecast. So everything is there. Okay, I'll give you some good examples also. This is like a bit complicated for the first one. So I'll give you some good examples, so then you'll be, well, maybe a small project. Then we'll go for that in the next class, maybe tomorrow's class, and then we'll have a clear idea. But just be clear, like with the conventions we are using. Here obviously we are going for the circle one, so this kinds of things. Okay, data flow is there, then we have the processes represented by Jordan. So every process, after first was broken down, we have got the second and the second project is broken down. That is, it was something, the this one production is broken down as serve product, produce product, and we are storing the data in the data store inventory. Store product is in the inventory. Then produce product will be in the different table. Raw material served product is in the raw order. And then again we have the procurement is broken down into 3.1, produce purchase order and it is saved in the purchase order. So all these things can be divided. So this is the level 1. So if you want to go for level 2 also, it's possible. Okay, so because there are too many processes, so they have gone, I think for this one it's okay. So this is first the you can just have a look at here. So this was the level 0, level 1, level 2. Okay, the decomposition is here. Okay, so in the level 2 we have stored it in the data store. Okay, you just check for one process. Suppose we have this fourth one, so we divided into 4.1, 4.2, 4.3. So it has record timetable work. So it is we store it in the time cards, and then we again have the calculate payroll. So payroll is there. So all these things. So we'll discuss like more. I'll give you one practice. I'll show you maybe in tomorrow's class. I'll tell you about this one. Like give you an example to do. Okay, simple one. So I'll share tomorrow. Okay, so this was all about today's class. Let me take the attendance first. Meeting is going to end. Just wait. Okay, by the way, any confusion? I know confusions will be there. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Who said? I didn't get it. Okay. So thank you everyone. So I'll give you assignment. Okay, tomorrow we'll solve one DFG diagram. Okay, then we'll go for the functional model. Thank you everyone.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
ma'am.
ma'am.